Okay, so really, really sorry. I might be back live. I think I am. Um, yeah, really, really sorry about that, guys. I was skipping a lot of frames and stuff like that, so I just kind of skipped over to the better connection. The was it yeah, 5G one, 2.4? I don't know, whatever. Skipped from that to the 5G one, so I should be live. Um, yeah, really, really sorry about that. Okay, so um, I'm just gonna start over. Stephen here, flying solo, as the title suggests. Um, a lot has happened in the last little while that I think we kind of need to go over, right? Um, and Starting with probably the biggest thing, which is that Trump has COVID. This is not. This is not. This is not working. This is not working. The whole the whole phone as a webcam thing is just not working. So I'm really, really sorry, guys. I'm just gonna have to switch over to the old inbuilt webcam. Just give me just a moment just to switch over there. So sorry about this. So sorry about the lag. I don't know why my fucking webcam is not fucking working. But why the fuck is my webcam not working? This is so fucking annoying. Um okay, yeah. Trump has COVID. Um and this is a lot of this is some pretty big issues, right? This is pretty big, right? Um it's not something to kind of, just dismiss, right? Because maybe that no, that's just display capture. Fucking hell, man. I'll just go over to this one. This is not something to just kind of dismiss, right? Like Trump is obese. Okay, right? Like let's not kind of mince words, and let's not kind of get our our words a little bit differently, right? He is obese, and Boris Johnson, who is the Prime Minister of England, he he had COVID, and he is also obese. Now he's a lot younger than Trump, but like he was in the ICU for a very long time, like a very long time, and like you want to talk about like some kind of some issues there. Like if Boris Johnson almost died from COVID and he's younger than Trump, there's a fair fucking chance that like he's gonna that Trump might be in trouble here. Now look, I'm not saying that it's a dead cert. I'm not saying that like he's definitely gonna be in trouble. I'm just saying the possibility is very fucking high. And the possibility that he could be in serious danger is again pretty fucking high. And the fact that we're talking about, like something that has killed 200,000 Americans, and that's just Americans, it's killed millions and millions of people. And the fact that we're talking about this, and it's that, like, this is not, like, this is a killer virus. And it works especially, it sounds weird to say it, but it works especially well when you're talking about somebody who, I'm sorry, this is just fucking facts, does have a pre-existing condition because he's obese. Now, if we were to talk about something that, like if like we were to be discussing something else, right? If we were to be talking about something, and the fact that he does, and the fact that he is and like does have a pre-existing condition, and it especially targets people who do have pre-existing conditions because of the type of virus that it is. We're talking about Trump being in possible mortal danger. Now, it goes without saying, right, that because COVID takes 2 weeks for the symptoms to kind of manifest and for the symptoms to kind of present themselves, right? We're talking about the fact that he did a debate with Biden. There's a chance that Biden could have COVID, could have gotten COVID from Trump. Now, I know that they were very far apart. And I know that they weren't exactly, in touching distance of each other, right? I get that that's a thing, right? That they weren't very close to each other. But, it's a thing that, like, he for sure, and I mean for sure, was like, he was close enough that he could have got it. He was close enough that he could have got it. And the fact that Biden is like, I mean, dude, like, you want to talk about fucking sick, man. He is fucking sick, man. Like, he's old. Biden is ridiculously fucking old. You look at him and he's like a frail old man. And you kind of think that like a fucking strong gust of wind is going to blow him over. Like, it's just so, and Leo's saying that Joe and Jill have both been tested. They've both been tested negative. I mean, like, that's, I'm not going to say that it's a bad thing, because obviously it's not, that they don't have COVID. But the fact that it was a possibility at all, and the fact that this, could have kind of, I'm not going to mince words, guys. It could have wiped him out. Like, it really could have wiped him out. And it's the idea that, Trump has been so kind of anti-mask, and he's been, he's been pumping out all his fucking conspiracy theories and stuff like that, and saying, like, he mocked Joe in the debate because he wore masks, and because, he said that, like, he could be 200 feet away from somebody, he's wearing a mask, and he says that he only wears one when he thinks that he needs to. But the problem with COVID is that because the symptoms don't manifest for 2 weeks, there's a case to be made that you always need to be wearing a mask. Because you don't know if you're interacting with somebody who has or who might have COVID. That's the problem. I mean, as soon as it was made mandatory in New York, which was like the fucking epicenter of where this was, like, it instantly fucking like calmed down, and it like instantly kind of like solved itself, right? Or like, well, no, not solved itself, but the numbers plummeted. Like, as soon as masks became mandatory, the numbers in New York plummeted, and they've been decreasing. And this just kind of proves to me and to a lot of other people that masks they just fucking work. Masks work. They do. It doesn't really kind of even need to be said. Like, they just work, and everybody knows that they work, except for Trump, except for Trump, who for some reason doesn't want to fucking accept that this is the case and that this is reality. It's only Trump. It's only Trump that kind of seems to have this fundamental problem, and it's people like him who think like him, who for some reason thinks that masks don't work. Masks do work. This has been proven. It's been proven by everybody who is actually doing the investigations, who's actually doing the studies and the research, and knows how viruses spread, etc., etc. Like, this has been fucking proven, and we know that this is that masks work. We know that they work. It's just a very loud and very vocal minority of people, unfortunately, that peddle this idea that masks don't work. And because of that, we get cases where people who are otherwise healthy and who are otherwise, like, if they actually wore a mask, they might not get it, who are getting it. And it just doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't. Like, if you think about it, the fact, like, if you have a disease, right, like a fucking disease, and you have a barrier across your face, and we know that the disease spreads through like coughing and sneezing and all of these things. Like, we know that that's how it spreads. How could you not think that putting a barrier in front of your face to stop the disease spreading, that's like, how can you possibly think that that's not going to work? It legitimately just doesn't make any fucking sense to me, like, at all. I just don't get it. Now, I had said that this was a podcast. Look, we're just about the whole Trump COVID thing. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. You know, we really are. He's obviously going to get the best care possible. He's like the best care possible. But again, we know that it targets people who have pre-existing conditions more. Trump is approaching the real kind of danger zone. They're saying everybody over 80 who has a pre-existing condition, that they're the ones who are really at risk. But I mean, like, Trump is not too far off that. They're kind of saying that, like, people who are in their 70s are not like, they're not like free from it, or they're not in the clear if they do get COVID, right? That they're still in some amount of danger. The point is that because Trump does have a pre-existing condition, and because he is older, he really could be in danger here. So some of the things that I'm just gonna talk about, I had planned on kind of saying about like some channel updates, because the other video that I did on it, the webcam was just it was just buggy, and it was going at like 4 frames a second, and it's just, but this video was doing the exact same fucking thing. So I'm just kind of, I'm after finally just kind of accepting that I need to buy a fucking standalone webcam. Whatever, it's a whole thing. That's a different topic. Anyway. Point is, yeah. So this has been shown in previous videos, and obviously the name has changed somewhat. We've gone under a new title. It's not something that it was something that was suggested to me, but obviously the kind of final decision, the final call comes down to me, right? Even though Kevin Centrist is the co-host and everything else like that, and yes, he is, and I would be fucking lost without him. But it is still my channel, and this is something that we've kind of talked about. That like that he knows that it's my channel. So like, I mean, like he doesn't object to me doing any of these types of videos. He doesn't object to me going on to debates and him not being there, right? Because like it's just something that I'm kind of doing on my own. Like, he is my co-host, but this is still primarily my channel. So the final word did kind of come down to me. Look, of course, I don't want to come across as like a dick. Of course, I would have taken his opinion like very, very seriously above everybody else's. But I kind of have known for a little while now, kind of in the back of my mind, I've been kind of thinking like, I really do kind of need to change it, because it's something that I kind of thought, the name was very polarizing. What Rib stood for was very polarizing. Now, I still agree with what Rib stood for, stands for, stood for. Anyway, I still agree with that. And the content that I'm going to be doing on this channel is still going to be the same. We're still going to do podcasts. We're still going to do call-in shows, even though we haven't done one in a very long time. I'm still going to do debates. I'm still going to do all of these things. All of the things that you have known to kind of expect from my channel, I'm still going to be doing all of those. It's just under a new name. That's the only difference. So there's a few things that I'm going to kind of talk about. I had to talk about COVID first because it was the kind of breaking news story of the day, right? So I had to talk about it. But there's a few other things. Now, I'm going to be going over the debate. I know that I was on MathPig's channel yesterday, and I'm going to leave a link to that video down in the description. Because I went over some stuff there, but it wasn't in full, and it wasn't my kind of like my entire I understand why, but I was interrupted, right? And that's not to say anything negative about MathPig at all. It wasn't my stream. It was his stream. I was a guest on his stream, and there was a lot of other guests on there as well. And obviously, they wanted to have their opinions out there and their kind of thoughts on it and everything. I totally get that, but it was just because I was interrupted, and I couldn't kind of talk for as long as I wanted to. I kind of had to pick my moments and to pick the points that I was going to bring up. So I'm probably going to go over some of them again, but my kind of first like immediate reactions, and then of course because it's on video, you're going to get some reactions from other people about what I said as well. I'm not going to talk about that because it's a very minor point. So some of the other podcast topics that I'm going to do, Trump's taxes. Trump's taxes were released, and look, of course, who amongst us did not fucking expect that Trump was going to fucking say this? Who amongst us did genuinely not think that Trump was going to say as soon as this was released, yeah, that's fake news? Like, who amongst us didn't think that that's what was going to happen, right? Like that was obviously going to be the case. That was obviously going to be something that actually obviously. So did he actually pay $750 in income taxes? Well, right now the sources that we have would seem to indicate that. And I genuinely think that this is something that can only have been a net positive for lefties. Definitely not for any Republicans, but only for lefties. Because if you really think about it, right? If you really think about it, the way that Trump can prove this all wrong is by releasing his tax returns. Now, he said, that he's been under audit and he's been under review or under whatever, and he's going to be releasing them shortly. That's what he said afterwards. That's what he said in the debate. But you see, the problem with that is that he also said that back in 2016. That was 4 years ago. You're not under audit and under review and under, like, whatever for that amount of time. So if we kind of phrase it, or if we kind of talk about this in the kind of sense of, well, we're going to accept that you paid $750 until you prove otherwise. We're going to accept that you're broke. We're going to accept that you're not a billionaire. By the way, who amongst us didn't fucking think that he was bullshitting about that? Not that I want that to be the main point of fucking conversation, obviously, which is something that I've seen on Twitter that I fucking hate. Fucking fake billionaire, or Trump's not a billionaire, was fucking trending. Like, dude, stop. Like, nobody believed that Trump was a billionaire. He's a buffoon. He's a buffoon that had a fucking salary, a fucking, like, pocket money from his daddy from when he was fucking born up until when he was in, I think he's mid-40s. Who the fuck? I'm 25. I don't have pocket money. He was almost twice my fucking age and he had pocket money. This is ridiculous. His dad bailed him out of every single, like, failed business venture that he had, of which there are many. You bankrupted a casino 3 times. 3 times. You're a terrible businessman. Terrible businessman. Nobody actually believed that he was a fucking billionaire. So, what I'm kind of saying, and what the kind of point of this is, and what I really kind of want to stress, and what I want to, like, get through, is that the idea that people are kind of hyper focusing on this notion of oh, well, he's not a real billionaire. No, we should be talking about the bigger issue. We should be talking about the bigger point, is that he has paid virtually nothing in income taxes. And by the way, something else that we found out in that is that he gave his daughter $72 million as an administration fee so that he could tax evade, which is a crime. So Trump he wants to go out there and he wants to talk about, fucking law and order, and I'm the president of law and order. I'm this, I'm that. I'm so big on law and order. I'm so big on like virtually fucking everything, right? Dude, you have taken money from foreign governments. This has been proven. You've taken money from foreign governments, which is against the Constitution of the Emoluments Clause. You have given your daughter millions of dollars as a form of tax evasion. And this is just 2 examples. That's just 2 examples. You want to talk about law and order? Fucking really. Which I'm going to go back to that point when I'm talking about the debate, because I think that Biden did a fucking terrible job. But anyway, this is the link, by the way, that you can like you can see this on the stream. You can see what I'm kind of talking about. The bigger picture, and